Okay, so first I want to thank both of them for the evidence that they presented for as to why we need free tuition. However, the reality of it is, first they said that actually Roland quoted that in 1862 that they helped people to get college tuition. However, if you're comparing 1862 to 2016, the biggest factor that's not in is the deficit that we have as a country. Right now, we are actually there's a quote saying how much the national deficit is $18 trillion in national debt. So that's not counting free tuition. If you wanted to put free tuition in there, that's gonna create there's gonna be a bigger hole than what we already owe. So they keep bringing up that free tuition would be nice. In all reality, it would be if you're from here. That doesn't count people who are out of state, and that doesn't count international students. So for the people who actually are going to come, they're going to come over, they're going to come over and take advantage of all the education system that we do have. They're the ones who are going to have to increase the fees. They're the ones who are going to have to pay higher for room and board if they wanted to live on campus. Another thing that they didn't mention is tuition doesn't cost, like Monica reinstated, it does not cost food, transportation, gas, books, and other things like that. If you're in athletics, that's not going to cost let's say if you're a basketball player, you still have to buy uniform and everything else that you have. The free tuition isn't going to cover that. So you're just literally, all you're paying is you're going to get a free seat in class. You're not going to get your supplies, you're not going to get everything else that you need. Also, they also said that there are more graduates that come out with a lower decrease in, with a higher increase in debt. However, one second. Okay. There's actually a quote from "Free tuition may not be a good thing, it's gonna escape minds." It actually says that 4 out of every 10 students that start at a community colleges drop out. So if there's 20 of us, 8 of us aren't gonna make it to transfer. And from those 8, only about half of them are actually gonna graduate, and not even half of them are gonna end up with debt. If they do end up with the so-called debt, on average, in 2016, well, this year, October of last year, they actually did a survey. It was actually the New Republic who did a survey by Andres Rents, and they actually quoted that a current graduate of a BA is actually in debt $10,000. With a BA, on average, they make about 17 to 19 grand a year. So if you spread that out within a couple of years, you can actually pay that off. So when Roland did say, once you graduate, you're less likely to get a job because you have so much debt and you're gonna be all over the place, isn't that why we go to college in the first place? To get a higher paying job that's gonna help us, pay off our loans. And the one thing that they did lack to mention is the fact that there are other ways besides boosting up all the tax increases, because Keenan did mention that that's how they wanted to solve it, was an increase in taxes. You're gonna take money from the poor that don't have money and take it for what? It's not gonna go to tuition. You know what I mean? It's like now, the older people, the older generations, they put so much money into the Social Security, and how many of them are actually getting it back? Not that many. There's a lot of people who have to go, in that example, there's a lot of people who have to go and sell their stuff to make ends meet when they're on a strict income. So it's the same thing with college tuition. We're gonna give so much money, and they're gonna take so much money from the poor. What money? We don't have money. That's why we go to school. You know what I mean? And those loans, if you think about it, you're not gonna be in debt that long. With time, with your career, as it advances, you're going to make more money and you're going to have more opportunities for your income to be greater, and then you're going to cut off the loans. And there are other options. What a lot of people don't understand is that we do have options such as the Obama Forgiveness Act, and they mentioned financial aid. Yeah, financial aid gives loans. However, Keenan did say that the lower income people can't come to school because they can't afford it, that's actually not true. If your household makes a certain amount of money, you automatically get free tuition anyways. So there's a lot of us, you know, I'm for one, I'm one of the people that get the BOG waiver. The majority of the people in this room get the BOG waiver and come to school for free. You know what I mean? All you have to pay is your books, your food, and your transportation. That's all you have to pay. So in reality, you know, it's a necessity to eat. You're not going to say, well, I'm going to stop eating because that's going to put me in debt. No. You're not going to say, oh, well, I'm going to stop transportation because it's going to put me in debt. No, regardless if you go to school or not, you gotta take some form of transportation. You know what I mean? And then also, Roland said that if you go to school, like if you go to university or college, the crime rate is gonna drop. That's not true. There's crime everywhere you go. It doesn't matter if you're in the nicest part of the United States and you have the highest education. There are crimes such as blue-collar crimes that people aren't aware of. And that's when the people that have like the highest power, they have those degrees and they can get away with things. However, the crime is still there. You know, there's a lot of people that, you know, go to Harvard, go to Princeton and things like that, UCLA, and they still they deal drugs. What about all the rape cases? You know what I mean? Just because you go to a university, and it's like, okay, you know, I want to go to university and I want to have free debt and all that. That does not correlate for there not to be any crimes at all. So with that, I end my first part.